All right, so I'm going to work through this question. Now, the first thing that stands out to me is that there's solid lines and dotted lines, both in set A and set B. Keeping in mind that I'm saying this is the first thing that stands out to me, but there doesn't seem to be an obvious pattern just looking at it, which has dotted. There's no, one shape which is associated with dotted lines or one shape associated with straight lines or anything like that. And that's really important because maybe it's a distractor, maybe it's not. So we need to be aware that the first thing that stands out to us isn't always the most important. Like I said, there isn't really any one shape in set A or set B that tends to be like present in all of the options in that set. So there's no pattern with that. And there doesn't really seem to be any particular way the arrows are pointing. There aren't even arrows in each of the boxes. There isn't any pattern with color because all the shapes are in just white. There's no black or gray shapes. There doesn't really seem to be a pattern I can obviously see to do with the size of the shapes. So I'm going to look at edges, right? And the first thing I notice is that there's 3 edges into a triangle, and there's 3 because there's 3 circles here. That's interesting. 3 and 3. Now, if I look here, this 4-sided star actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 edges. Here we've got a pentagon with 5, a circle is 1, and this shape's 2, which total add up to 8. Now I look like I see a pattern. Just to test that out, I have 4 here, the triangle has 3, and the 2 circles have 2, so a total of 5. So the current pattern I'm thinking is in set A, if it's the same number of sides on either side of the diagonal line, then we think it's a solid line. And if it's a different number, we have a dotted line. Now, I'm not actually going to waste any more time looking at set A because the question focuses on set B. For your interest, though, we will come back to it later and make sure. Now, the reason I started looking at set A is because I was actually a little confused looking at set B. I had no idea, right? So I just started with set A because it just looked like there were some easier shapes to work there. And you can do this if you're terribly stuck because sometimes the pattern in one set can help you identify the pattern in the other set. Let's see if that's the case here. So in set B, I notice 1 edge and 1 edge. We have dotted lines. Now, here I have 4 edges and 2. So the pattern here seems to be dotted line whenever they're same and solid line whenever they're different. Let's see if that works for all of them because we need to make sure it works for all of them in order to assure it's a pattern. So we've got 4 and 3 for the solid line, and here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 2 diamonds would make 8. So it seems to work for these 3, and the hypothesis works here, and we notice 4 and 4 here, so it works. Pentagon's got 5, triangle and this weird shape together have 5. So it works. So this pattern works for set B completely. Yeah? And like I said, for your interest, I would come back and finish off set A as well. The arrow has 7 edges, whereas 2 triangles would be 6 and a diamond would be 4, so a total of 10 here. Different number of edges, dotted line. Now here the 2 circles have 2 and the arrow has 7. Different number of edges, dotted line. 4 and 4, same number, solid line. Okay, so it looks like we can be pretty confident with our pattern, right? Now let's see which of these would best belong to set B. Yeah? So what I notice, remembering in set B, if it's the same number of sides, it's a dotted line. If it's different, it's a solid line. I've got 7 in this arrow, and then a diamond has 4 and a triangle has 7. So same, same. Now same is actually dotted in the example that we're looking at because we're looking at set B, not A. So we can cross that out. Now in this example, we've got 1 over here and 2 over here, right? And they're different. Now different should be a solid line in set B, so we can cross that out. Here we've got 5 on the pentagon and 4 on the other shape. Of quadrilateral, I guess. And they're different. Now, different should be a solid line. Correct? Yeah. So that would be our answer. Now, just going back and looking at the first option, the reason I left the first option to the end is because there's a lot of big shapes there. There's like that four-sided diamond and everything, and I didn't really want to count the number of sides there if I could avoid it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the circle, so 9 over here. And then 2 diamonds would equal 8 because each diamond is 2. Different number of sides should be a solid line, so that's off. And that only leaves the last option as our answer. Hope you guys found that useful, and good luck.